Hey YouTube, ChaCha'z here. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's doing good. But anyways, I wanted to come up here and talk about the dating advice and to continue that topic from my last video. And again, the reason I was prompted to do this topic was because somebody had asked me to pray about something and basically concerning that topic, as well as somebody had posted something, one of my other friends, about basically that topic. And first I want to say that as women, it's up to us to say yes or no to someone. We really need to be setting our standards high. And for those of us that are believers, it's also really important that we're not unequally yoked. You may hear some people say, oh, well, I'm missionary dating. You know, the Bible never says that. The Bible does make it clear not to be unequally yoked. So, no such thing as missionary dating. So, let's just set that straight. If you're going to date someone of the world and they're not really living for Christ, you're going to face problems and you're going to be tempted and you're really like playing with your soul. Because more than likely, as the Bible says, they're going to end up pulling you away from the Lord. And that's not what you want. You know, when a man is really saved and really serving the Lord, he's going to like seek to become the man that God has designed for men to be. And that means he's going to first and foremost always put God first in every part of his life. He is going to be a man of honor. He's going to know how to respect a woman, and he's going to understand his role as protector, provider, and head of household. And like the Bible tells a man to love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave his life for the church. Um, and when you have a man that is really centered on being that kind of man, to really love God and to be a man of honor for the Lord, then that man will know how to love you as a woman. And um, that's why it's important that we really seek that kind of a man. As a single woman, yeah, I've had men want to marry me, date me, but I don't want to end up with someone that is not saved. I don't want to end up with someone that is not really serving the Lord, and that we can grow together in the Lord. Um, and so it's really important that we really seek from the Lord who He has for us. But what I do see often is it seems like men just don't have chivalry. And I'm not going to say all. There are a lot of men, though, that don't. They won't pull out the chair for you. They won't open and close the door for you. When you're getting up from the dinner table, they won't stand up. They sit there and, they expect a woman to take care of them. And let me tell you something. When you have a man coming to you asking for money or you to buy this, you just need to get rid of that man. If a man is a real man, he's going to have a job. He's going to work. He's going to have his act together. You know, I'm I know this one young man, and I used to work with him, and he's young enough to be my son. And we stayed in contact over the years, and he had met this young girl, and they were pretty quickly moving along, and he was made it clear that he was gonna propose to her because I think he had posted something, or he told someone else that had shared with me, and so I was a little concerned, like, hey, aren't you moving a little fast? But this is the answer that I liked about him. He was very respectful because he even said, I know if you're asking, it's because you care. And two, what he told me that something that was important to him was that he wanted to be able to have something to offer this woman that he ended up marrying. And so he bought a house because he wanted to show her that he could provide for her, that he could take care of her. And that's honorable. Because you see, he's not expecting her to buy his meals. He's not expecting her to take care of him financially. No, he's understanding that as a man, he needs to be the breadwinner, the head of household, and be able to provide for his wife. And honestly, I have a lot of respect for this young man, and we keep in touch till this day. And his wife is a very sweet lady, and now they're on child number two. Um, so really happy for them. And let me tell you something. That is the kind of man that you guys want to look for. Us ladies that are single, don't just settle. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. Don't settle. First thing is, you know, when you're dating someone, you want to make sure that intellectually, again, like I said before, you're on the same level. You know, Secondly, you want to see, does he have goals? Does he have ambitions? Two, if that man is coming up to you and he begins to ask for, like, oh, can I borrow $20? No, you cannot borrow $20. You need to go. Because that to me is like, then it's already signs that he's showing that he's not going to be a good provider. And honestly, I would be so embarrassed as a woman to have a man that I have to take care of. No, he should be taking care of me. If a man is a real man, he's going to have a job. He's going to do what he has to. He's going to set his priorities straight. You know, I am and also, something to also look at is, in time, as you continue in the dating process, you guys need to talk about finances, because finances is definitely a big thing why a lot of people end up not staying together, um, because of those finances. You want to see, does he have a lot of debt? Does he live off of credit cards? Is he constantly getting loans? Is he living above his means? Because I tell you, you're going to struggle then if you end up marrying that person. Something for me too is, you know, I don't want someone that drinks. So if you guys are like dating men and they're constantly drinking, it's a waste of money. But also, it's just, as a believer, we shouldn't be drinking. So, I definitely don't want that. And don't compromise in that. Something that I do hear a lot of women say, which I think is really sad. Even though I'm a strong, independent woman, I'm a go-getter. I can support myself. I'm not having to rely on anybody to pay my bills. I'm working and supporting me. The Lord's blessed me with a good job, and I get up, I go to work 5 days a week and do what I got to do. But in spite of that, I never have this desire, and I hear a lot of women say, I can do anything a man can do. Let me tell you something. I don't want to do anything a man can do, because God designed a male for a certain role and designed a female for a certain role. And I think the neat thing about what God intended for the female, and I don't think a lot of women really understand that, when when you're meet the one that God has intended for you, and now you two are become one, meaning your first husband, your first wife, until death do you part. When you guys are bonded like that, and you are, you're really close, even though, yes, the man is the head of the household, he's a provider, he's a protector, he's a discipliner of the children, um, but what's neat about that is, when that man is having a bad day or he's feeling discouraged, who does he come home to? He comes home to the wife. And as women, God has given us the role that we are their strength. We are their backbone. And I'm not talking strength in the way of muscles. I'm talking in the motivation to keep them going, to let them know, like, you're loved. And if that man really loves you, he's going to see that when you're giving him advice, it's because you really love him and care for him. He's going to see that you're there to really help him to be strong. That is a really special role that God has given us as women. And that's something that was intended for the woman, you know. And for the man, he has his responsibilities of loving his wife the way Christ loved the church, um, to again protect his home, be willing to lay down his life for the woman, to um, to really do what he has to make sure that he is being a good provider, having a job and budgeting, and when he's making decisions to consider the wife's feelings and to make sure that he's making the wise decisions, not just for himself, but also for his wife, that he's making what is a good decision for her as well. And I'm not talking like, oh, well, this is what I said, so, no. I'm talking when, there was an example that I'll never forget this. I know a married couple and they were looking for a house, and the wife, she really wanted this particular house, and it was a little bit more expensive. And then the husband was looking at another house, and it was a little more cheaper. And later on, she told me, I let him know, like, he knows this is the house I want, and but she also said, but he is the head of the household, and um, so she was going to leave the decision up to him. But this was the neat thing, is then later on, he had told me, because they ended up getting the house that she wanted, and then he told me, when I thought about it, like, yeah, I mean, obviously the other house would have been cheaper, but then when he realized, he was like, there was no reason that they couldn't get the other house. It was something that, he felt they could afford. There was no reason to not get the other house that she wanted. And so he really considered her feelings, and that is what I'm talking about. When a man makes a decision, he's going to make a decision that is best for the family unit, and he's going to consider everything, like, can we afford this? Is this a wise decision? Is there really a reason why we shouldn't get it? And then he's going to consider the wife's feelings. And then sometimes, sometimes they do have to make a tough decision, like, hey, money's tight. Economically, this would make more sense because of these situations, but they work together as a team, so I think that's something that in society today, a lot of women have lost sight of. You know, I think it's neat that God would place the role on us women, that He has what our role is in a marriage. Um, and, like the Bible says, first husband, first wife, until death do you part. And what God had put together, let no man put asunder. Um, and so, you know, I would really encourage you guys, when you're dating someone, get to know them. Don't just look at, oh, they're good looking. No, really look and pay attention to, when I say look, meaning look into how they're living their life. How are they budgeting? How are they talking with you? Are they being gentlemen? Are they opening and closing the door from you? Are they trying to be overbearing and like act like they control you? Because if you get someone that's controlling, you just need to get rid of him then, because that is definitely not from God. And if you get a man that is lazy and doesn't want to work, you need to get rid of him then. That's just not how what God intended for that to be. When a man comes into a woman's life, that man is to be a blessing, not a burden. He is to help take the load off of us and work with us. He is to, again, be someone that we as women can go to and feel safe and comfortable with, and know that he's there and that he's going to be our to protect us, to provide for us, to support us. And that doesn't mean that we don't work. No, because these day and ages, with the way prices are, sometimes both couples have to work, but the man is the one that takes on the bigger responsibility as to take care of his wife. And that is the kind of man that you want, that's going to take care of you, love you, cherish you, not try to tear you down, but build you up, and to help encourage you in the Lord to be all you can be in the Lord, and will walk that straight and narrow path with you. So these are really important things, and I really hope that as women in general, that these are all qualities that we're looking for. And something too, when you do meet someone, compare that man to the Bible. Is this the kind of man that the Bible talks about? And if not, then he needs to just not be someone you date, because you're going to have problems later. And then you're going to be wishing you hadn't done that. And, it's going to be too late if you end up marrying that man because, like I said, the Bible says when it's your first husband, first wife, it's until death do you part. And again, what God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. So really seek the Lord. Always pray. Most importantly, pray and ask God to guide you on who He wants for you. And use wisdom when you're going to say yes to dating someone. And never compromise with any man. We have a standard that as believers, how we're to carry ourselves when we're dating someone. And that man's trying to get you to compromise those standards, then that man needs to go because then he's not respecting you the way he's supposed to. But you wait and trust the Lord to bring the right one to respect you and to do the dating process properly, and that will really be a man of honor and a man of God. Most importantly, that man of God, because if he's a man of God, then he will be a man of honor. But anyways, I hope these are all tips that help you, and remember the Lord loves you, and thank you for listening. All right, bye-bye.